They say that there are no stupid questions, but as I'm sitting in the doctor's office asking what I feel like are simple, reasonable questions, the response I hear is, "You can't cure this with food." Then another one, "Changing his diet isn't going to work." Listen, I'm not asking questions to be difficult. I'm asking questions because I'm trying to understand what is happening to my son. What are some alternatives? And it cannot just be a lifetime of medication. Not long before this, my 12-year-old son was diagnosed with a rare kidney disease. And like most parents, I found myself in a world I knew very little about. There are new words, new tests, new decisions, and the treatment plan is presented clearly. Long-term medication, no real alternatives. The conversations move quickly, but by the end of this conversation, something doesn't quite sit right. Not fear exactly, just a sense that I really need to understand more. So I started paying attention at home. I started asking questions, writing things down, not because I'm trying to challenge anyone, but because I'm really trying to understand, and I'm looking for a pattern. And there it was. Suddenly, I see that he's changing. What he eats, his bathroom experiences, how he's feeling day to day, what changes and what stays the same. So of course, on the next doctor visit, I started asking even more questions. And then I started sharing my findings. But the tone in the room changes. I'm no longer being seen as a mother who's concerned about her son's health. Now I'm being described differently. Difficult, non-compliant. I'm hearing things like, "This isn't sustainable. This is not how this works." Have you ever had a moment where something doesn't quite make sense, but you wasn't sure if you should say anything? A question forms, then another thought behind it. Maybe I should ask. Many of us know this moment all too well. Maybe not necessarily in a doctor's office. Maybe it's when a teacher describes your child in a way that does not sound like the child you know. Maybe it's when something at work or a data point doesn't quite add up. Or maybe it's when someone you love starts acting differently and something inside you says, "Pay attention." Because somewhere along the way, we learn a strange lesson about curiosity. We are told that curiosity is a good thing. It makes us thoughtful, innovative, engaged. But there's an unspoken boundary around it. Be curious, but just not in a way that slows things down. Not in a way that challenges authority. And not in a way that makes people uncomfortable. Because the moment curiosity crosses that invisible line, it becomes a problem. Better yet, you become a problem. And for me, there's something simple about this. The moment curiosity becomes inconvenient, it is the moment it becomes necessary. For me, curiosity begins with observations. I lead data governance teams for a living, so noticing patterns and asking questions is a part of my job. So I started tracking my son's symptoms and his lab results. And I started noticing something interesting. The exact same protein levels that the doctors monitor, this is a key indicator of his condition. It started to change based on what he was eating and what he was eliminating. Now, this wasn't dramatic. It was just a pattern that showed itself long enough to get my attention. So curiosity did what it does. It asked the next question. Could this have something to do with what we're seeing? Could diet be influencing what we're experiencing? Was there research on this? Is it something worth exploring further? According to a 2011 study done by the National Institutes of Health, chronic kidney disease patients can lower their risk of death from 27 to 31% just by lowering their diet, by paying attention, adding fruits, vegetables, and grains. So there was something significant about this. But the moment those questions entered the conversation, the tone shifted. And I remember feeling that there was a tension that many of us have felt before. In the loudest conversations, they wasn't in that room. They were in my head. Am I being too much? Am I overthinking this? But curiosity says, let's keep looking. Let's keep learning, and let's keep asking questions. Because those dots, they needed to be connected. And these are the things that others may not have noticed yet. So I kept paying attention, and I kept asking questions. And over time, those questions led to better conversations with doctors who were willing to explore those conversations with us. And that's when I realized something else that was important. Curiosity isn't just intellectual. Curiosity is protective. And over time, it becomes something else too. It builds resilience. The kind of resilience that helps us navigate uncertainty instead of pretending that it isn't there. We tend to think of curiosity as something that makes us innovative, creative, but oh man, curiosity, it is so much more. So when something feels off, and when the answers don't quite add up, and you're asked to just move on without understanding why, curiosity asks us to pause long enough to look closer, to ask more questions, and to uncover those possibilities that we would have otherwise missed. So here's something you can do the next time curiosity shows up, and you feel that moment of hesitation, or if those loud voices in your head, they're really trying to convince you to shrink. I want you to pause and ask yourself, what might this question protect? Maybe it protects a relationship. Maybe it protects your integrity. Or maybe, like me, it protects someone you care deeply about. Whatever your answer is, it might be worth asking, because curiosity often begins with the courage to ask that one more question. So my son experienced remission for a few years, and then we learned that he was experiencing a relapse. So the curiosity journey continues. Not long after getting this news, I'm on a plane, and I'm sitting next to someone that I've never met. She starts asking me about my family, and at some point, I share with her about my son. And she says something interesting. She says, I have a friend, and that is his specialty. Her friend is a doctor that works in the exact same area that we've been navigating. This conversation was sparked by simple curiosity. And that doctor, he became a part of my son's care team. He started partnering with my son's pediatric nephrologist, and he is now seeing him as he transitions into adult nephrology. That moment revealed that curiosity can also do two powerful things. It helps us see patterns more clearly and helps us find the people that can help us connect those dots. But over time, we learn that curiosity, we need to quiet it. Not because we stop wondering, but because it becomes inconvenient. And sometimes those questions that we hesitate to ask, those are actually the ones that protect us and those we love the most, and that creates the most shifts. So the next time curiosity taps you on the shoulder, I want you to pause, lean into it, and please ask that question anyway. My son is 19 now, and we are still navigating, we're still asking questions, and we are still being curious. Because what I've learned is that sometimes those small questions, they can change everything. Thank you.